Good morning, and welcome to yet another episode of John Works Too Much. Today we're going to take out this tub and this tile, even though it is beautiful. I know a lot of people would be like, John, why do you take up such beautiful stuff and then put in even more beautiful stuff? I'm like, I don't know. People ask me to. And then we're going to make a bench right here and build a curb and then just have a shower. So we're going to raise up this faucet up to about here, 4 feet. We're going to raise up the shower head up to 7 feet and then put new tiles. So it should be beautiful. Now, I've got a friend, Lisa Lowry, and she works at a pest control company, and sometimes I ask her advice because she's very smart and I'm not. And I'm like, Lisa, what do you do if you have mice? And she's like, get WD-40. It won't actually get rid of your mice or kill them, but it'll definitely stop the squeaking. So keep that in mind whenever you might have a problem with mice. Because that way, you know, like you can still love them and not kill them, but they're not as irritating. So thank you, Lisa, for your great advice. We're going to tear this up, and we'll let you know piece by piece as it goes. All right, bye. So it's been about 28 minutes, and I know you guys are thinking, I wonder what John's been up to. Well, we got all this tile out, and also, as a bonus, for those of you that are trying to remodel on a budget, I'm offering this cast iron tub half off. You have to bust these things up. They're miserable. I got the Sawzall blade with the cast iron blade on it, and I cut up some, and I beat the crap out of it with a hammer. And it's just now barely coming out, but they're very heavy. And it's times like these when I think, should I go back and try to finish the 10th grade and maybe the 11th grade and maybe actually graduate high school so I can get a better job? It might be too late for me. I don't know. What do you think, Helper with no name? She rolled her eyes, as is her usual habit, because nothing I do amuses her at all. And I'm sure that a lot of you feel the same way. So a lot of times I hear people say things like, that's just how I am. You just need to accept me for me and this kind of thing. And I think we identify us with our worst habits. Like, you just have to accept that I've got this horrible habit and I treat people badly. I'm like, or maybe, and hear me out on this, you change yourself for the better so that you're not like a spoiled, rotten child, but instead you're like a mature adult who, I don't know, considers other people. Anyway, I'm going to get back to beating this thing up, and I'll be back soon. All right, bye. So a lot of you were like, John, you should go back to school. It's not too late. But we already smashed up the tub, so I kind of lost interest. I'm not going back to school. That's a lot of work. This is easy compared to going back to school. So I want to show you guys something. So what happens a lot, whenever you got a tub drain, oh, here we go. Whenever you have a tub drain, it oftentimes looks like this. This one's made out of brass. The new ones are made out of PVC thin wall. So then this went into a lead pipe, and the lead pipe is very malleable. So this one, I think, tore a little bit, and when it tore underneath, it could have happened years ago. All this dirt is very wet, and all this is very wet, and so all the sheetrock got wet back behind here, so that's a problem. So we had to get down below that, which was not easy. We had to dig all this down, and then we get down to PVC, right? So then to cut it, it's very difficult in this very small hole to get a Sawzall or something in there. So there's this tool I've showed you guys before, and it's just a drill bit, and then you stick inside the pipe and then drill. What happens is, as you're drilling, if it touches the chuck at all, it just drops the drill bit down the drain, and this happens a lot. And so a friend of mine, Mike Lowry, married to Lisa Lowry, in case you guys haven't done the math, told me a wonderful trick, and that is stuff a bunch of toilet paper or paper towels or something down your pipe and then cut above it, and then even if it falls, it will catch it. So I think that's magnificent. So what we're going to do from there is we're going to offset this because it's too close, right? So right now, if we went straight above it, it would be like this, and that's a dumb place to put things. So we're going to put this, offset it, and then have it sitting. You want this to be level with your floor, and then obviously this piece will screw in there and it becomes adjustable for your pan height, and then that'll be a lot better. So I think that is a wonderful tip and trick. Now, I, throughout my years, have worked with a lot of people that think very highly of themselves. They're typically highly skilled, hardworking people, and usually are well aware that they're smart. But then it dawned on me, and this was years ago, like, I wonder if dumb people know that they're dumb. And if, you know, because like 50% of the world's population is below average, think about it, 49%, whatever. So I started asking people, like, hey, of all the people that you know or you've met in your life, what percentage of those people do you think you're smarter than them? And I was shocked to find the answer, because it's statistically impossible for everybody to be smarter than everybody. So somebody has to be the smartest, and somebody has to be the dumbest, and somebody has to be in the middle, right? I personally was concerned that I was the dumbest person in the world, but I've asked around and they said, no, you're not the dumbest person in the world. And I'm like, thank God. And they're like, but if he dies, you're in trouble. And I'm like, so whoever the dumbest person is, please be safe. Wear a Nerf outfit or whatever it takes to keep you alive, because otherwise I will take that crown from you. Anyway, I thought that was interesting that, are people self-aware, or are they just... everybody thinks they're the smartest person or the coolest person in the world. So think about that. Hi guys, it's been about 28 minutes. As you can clearly see, we've got all the green rock up, we've got the new faucet in, we've got the new shower head in, we've raised everything up. It was really low, remember? And now we're up significantly higher. We got the curb built, we got the pan in, we got the drain in, and we poured the pan. So that's amazing. Now, if you have Smellophone, if you have the new technology, I know that Elon Musk watches my videos, and thank you, Elon, I really appreciate you. I've got a great idea. You could download Taste and Smell. Hear me out on this. With colors, we can download, we can zap a color and go, ooh, let's mix this with red, green, and blue, and then we'll send it over there, and then it comes out as the same color. You're like, interesting. And with sound, we're like, I want to take these frequencies and then send them over there, and then they're the same frequencies. So just do that with smell and taste. I mean, that way you can smell the bleach that's in here, because bleach kills mold. And so there was some mold, and we killed it with bleach, and it was like this, please don't kill me! But now it is dead. So thank God it won't be here to make anything else. Now, my helper reminded me of a wonderful story. I used to film a fishing show back in 2005 called Gary on the Lake, and we were trying to get to Lake Monticello, and we felt like we were really close. We felt like we're right there. We could kind of see the lake right on the other side of the street. But we were looking for the dock where we could get the boat in the water. And so we pull up to this guy's house, and he's an old guy in his rocking chair, and Gary, the host, he's driving, he goes, hey, you know where the dock's at? He goes, y'all from Dallas? And he goes, yes, sir. And he goes, never heard of it. And we're like, you jerk. It was literally 3 doors down right there. I mean, we were probably 150 feet away from the lake or something like that. Never heard of it. I'm like, not nice, not very welcoming. And as a stranger, I did not feel like you loved me. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. We're going to tile this tomorrow. We're going to put a couple soap dishes in, and the next day we're going to grout it. And then the sadness that has been over this bathroom for I don't even know how long will be lifted, and there will be light and smiles. All right, have a good night. Good morning. So today we laid all this tile, and it's subway tile, but we did it in a brick pattern. Which what that means is that normally on a subway tile you would divide. This is 18 inches, so you come back 6 inches. And cut one, and then another 6 inches and cut the next one. It would just stagger up. But the brick patterns, every other one is the same. So that's that. And then we got pebblestone on the floor, and it looks really nice. We put in these 2 soap dishes, and we got a new faucet, and we put in a new light while we're at it. So what do you want to talk about, Helper? Oh, good. Debt. I think that's a good thing. Let me clarify. I don't think debt is a good thing. I think talking about debt is a good thing. A lot of people are afraid to talk about money. I think that it's important because it is such an area of problems for so many people. So maybe you got yourself in debt somehow. Life circumstances happened, maybe COVID happened, maybe somebody got sick, maybe you got yourself in college debt, you bought a house you couldn't afford, anything like that. And now you're like, you plan for things and you think, this is going to work out, and then life happens and you're like, this is not working out. This is definitely a very heavy burden for me to carry, and I don't see a way out, and part of me just wants to throw my hands up in the air and give up, right? And life can do that to you sometimes. You feel like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is too hard, and there's no way out, and I'll never see the light of day, and I'm just going to be in debt till I die, and that's that. Incorrect. All right, so first of all, you've got to your first rule is, if you're digging a hole and you figure out, oops, I'm in too deep in this hole, your first step is to stop digging. You don't want to keep digging and go, oh, I can't believe that this hole's getting deeper and deeper and deeper, because it will. So stop digging. So stop spending money that you don't have. It's important. Our government could take a lesson on this one. Stop doing that. Reduce your bills down to as little as possible. Live like you're poor, so that later on you can do whatever in the world you want to do. So, for example, I just want to tell you that I'm not saying this in a judgy way. I was $675,000 in debt because I owned a music venue and a couple flip houses, and then life happened, 9/11 happened, I ended up getting divorced, and on and on and on. And all these things compiled to the point where my bills were $1,000 a day. Every single day of the year was $1,000 a day. And that is a crushing amount of debt. That is the amount of debt that you're like, I can't hardly breathe, because if I make $1,000 today, I just break even. But if I make more, I better save it, because tomorrow I might not make any, and the next day I might lose money. So what I did is I had $80,000 in credit card debt, and then mortgages, and so on and so forth. And so I made a list, and I got organized. I think you should too. And on this list, it wasn't the highest dollar amount at the top; it was the highest interest rate at the top. I was like, even if this bill is only $1,000, if the interest rate is 26%, we're going to knock that one out first. So I had 13 credit cards and a bunch of other things. And I lined them all up on a piece of paper, and I was like, this is how much I owe. And so I made minimum payments on everything here, and threw everything I could possibly afford at the top one, the top interest rate, until that one chiseled away, and then it disappeared. And I was like, worst case, I can borrow against that again. I was there before, I can be there again, but I'm gonna really try hard to sacrifice and put against this debt. Then when that one went away, like a little bit of relief happened. And I was like, oh, now I'm used to paying this much, but I can take that amount that I was paying there and pay to my second one, and anything else I can afford on that, now my highest interest rate. Until pretty soon all my credit cards were gone, and then pretty soon all of my other debt was gone, and pretty soon my mortgage was gone, and now I have zero debt. And now I pay cash for houses. And I just want to encourage you that if you're in a hole that you feel like I cannot get out of, if you just get organized about it and are disciplined and attack that debt, you can get out of there. Also, on a side note, 40% of homeowners in America own their house outright, which means they don't have a mortgage payment, they don't pay rent. And you're thinking, is it really that much? And the answer is yes, 40%. So 4 out of 10 people own their house outright, of homeowners own their house outright. At which point, now look, most of those people are older, right? Because a mortgage is usually 30 years, but you can knock that out earlier. And I haven't had a mortgage in 14 years. So I hope that helps you out. The tile looks beautiful. We're going to go out this tomorrow, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful Friday and that you're going to do something fun tonight, not the normal boring things you do. Oh, hey there. So we got everything grouted. I'm sure you're very grateful to see that. We got this pebble stone in. We got the sub dishes in. With grout, you have to sponge and sponge and sponge and sponge, and then for the next 3 days you have to sponge some more. And then it still ends up with a film on it. You have to, like this stuff here, you just have to wipe out. Right? So that's how that works. But it's so very beautiful. It's also important to silicone your corners. So everywhere there's a 90-degree angle, you want to put silicone in that. And I see a lot of people in their showers get black mold around the corners and around the tub and everything. And they're like, I don't know, I guess we got to throw the whole thing away. If you start to see a crack anywhere in your corners or in your grout, fix it. Just put some caulk in there. Seal it up. It's pretty simple. That'll keep the water from getting in there. You won't get mold, it won't rot away. It'll be a lot better. So I want to talk to you guys about a cool story. And this is about a Roman soldier who was high up in rank, and his daughter was very sick. And he knew that Jesus was around, and so he sent for Jesus. He's like, this guy heals people. And so Jesus was coming, and then as Jesus is coming towards his house, he sends one of his servants. He himself comes out to Jesus and he says, look, I'm a sinner. If you come to my house, then you will defile yourself. And I am a man under authority, and I understand how authority works. So if I say to this man, go and do this thing, I know it will be done. I don't have to be there watching it. I don't have to be there in person. If I say to this guy, do this thing, and he's in charge of other people, he will do it, and he will have his people do it, and it will be done because I asked for it. And he goes, all you have to do, I know that you're the Son of God, all you have to do is say the word, and my daughter will be healed. You don't have to be there physically. I understand how authority works. And Jesus turns, and this guy is an unbeliever, right? He's a Gentile. And he turns to the crowd and he says, I have not seen faith like this in all of Israel. So you've got a guy who is not a believer. So in our day now, you say, well, he's not a Christian, and yet he understands how things work. He understands that Jesus has authority over everyone and everything, and if he just says the word, there is no magic formula. There is no, if you do this thing and say this chant, then things will be done right. It's not, you will not be rewarded for saying the same thing a lot. It's just simply knowing, if I ask you and you say yes, I know you can heal whatever the problem is. And I think that's a good lesson. So hopefully that gives you guys encouragement, because I personally know so many of you that are going through hard times, and it breaks my heart. And when you ask me to pray for you, I do. But I know, like with full faith and understanding, I realize that if I go to God and say, please heal my friend, then he's like, I'll do what you ask, as long as it's within his will. And there is no more after that needs to be said. He heard me, and if it's in his will, then it will be done. So be encouraged. I hope that you guys have a wonderful Saturday, and or whatever day it is when you're watching this. And I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.